Okay, so as I said, I will go through Shell Remonet and then the resilience program during the TRA. So for you, we already have like I think 2 or 3 webinars in Alice where we present at the beginning we present Shell Remonet, then we present some results, and now I'm going to present some key results and innovation and why these projects and why resilience in Europe. Pablo already introduced that the resilience is very important now in Europe and it will be in the future. So we have Sarin that is sustainable and resilient for infrastructure and logistic networks, and we have Remway that resilient multimodal freight transport network. They are sister projects. They came from the same proposal. And why these projects or why are we in these projects? Why are they important for Europe? So first of all, these presentations were used more or less, not all the slides, but some of them for the RTR conference in 2025. So I would want to thank Fier, that is the coordinator of Remonet, and Fraunhofer, that is the coordinator of SAIL, and all the partners that work in the presentations with us, with Alice. So as you can see in the specters, there is every year there are more and more disruptions that affect the supply chain. So we started in 2021, as we can see, with losses of more than 100 billion, and now, and 2 years ago, this one almost 1,000 billion of losses. So we need to make the supply chains more resilient, not only because of the economic losses, but because at the end you need to transport something from point A to point B, and sometimes it's not only the money, but it's the need of the transport these goods. So we need to have this change more resilient. Also, as I will share later, not only more resilient, but also more sustainable. So for Remonet, we have a project of 4 million euros of 3 years, almost 3 years of duration, and it's in intermodal and in international in the whole Europe. Then this project is more on identifying the alternative routes and then orchestrate how we can direct the different type of transport modes to find a route that is first that is available from point B to point A, and then that is more sustainable or more cheap. Is up to the person that is willing to take this route. Okay, then how this project was made from the beginning is first we need to understand the multimodal transport networks and also the disruptive events, how they can affect the supply chain and on what severity they can affect the supply chain, how much time do you need to recover from these events, etc. Then we have the calculation of these routes and different options, not only by road, but as I said, by multimodal transport. So to jump from the road to the train and then back to the road, and maybe you have a inland waterway transport boat in the middle. It's up to the modes of transport available in the corridor. Then we see how we can enable this collaboration. So we need to have a collaborative platform, and we have a model that can work on it. And then we check with some pilots how we can improve it and how we can improve the algorithm and the tool we are going or the software we are going to develop. So for this, I just focus, I mean, we have 6 work packages, but at the end, I just focus in work package 3, that is the data and platform governance, the ecosystem and business model design, and the technical platform development. So we start to collect the data and the literature and see how we can put everything together and how we can create a platform that it can be used by everyone. And for work package 4 and 5, we have the future results, and we see how we can work with the self-learning model and how the pilots can, how these real pilots, one of them is Red Cross one, that is quite interesting for this type of resilience because, as I say, it's not always the money or the sustainable, but the way you can reach some point of Europe. And we study these cases, test them, and we see how we can implement to the self-learning model so they can learn from future corridors and future case studies. And then I'm going to jump to Sally, the other project, and here we also have, well, in Remonet we also have the green part, the sustainable, and we also implemented this in Saril. As you can see, first we have the at-risk assessment and vulnerability, then we have to model the transport and traffic, then is when we bring with this the resilience, and at the end we study the sustainability aspects. For Sail, we work in 3 scenarios that can be replicated afterwards. So one is small, the other is medium scale, and the last one is a large scale. And you can see there from wildfires to flooding and from pandemics and wars. So we try to cover almost everything that we can adapt them to another new use case in a different scale or a different type of disruption. And as I said, that in SAIL we have this part of resilient factors and sustainability factors, and after a work package that we work on it, we have the factors of resilience and the ones of sustainability, and we see that there are some commons like visibility and collaboration, but also we find, like for example, the redundancy and flexibility are not very good. I mean, you can be more and flexible, but maybe then you have to down your green practices or have less green practices because it's difficult to be very flexible if you have to be also green. And then after this, what we do, we take off all the tools that were discussed during the preparation of the project, and we put all together to see how we can fit in one very big tool or in like 3 or 4 medium tools instead of having only, for example, a natural hazard maps. We see that this thing can be put in a disruption interface, and then this disruption interface can be used for traffic simulation or for a route planning, etc. So we just first take the tools that provide the data, then the tool that collect it, then the tools that use this data to send it to the different users. And I'm going to briefly show you some tools, and at the end I will tell you where you can find more info. And for example, we have the synchronous decision making, the asteroid that is made by Fraunhofer, and with the help of Greenwood Advice as an end user and Mixmood, you can see if you have transportation networks and there is a disruption, you can check the different alternative routes you can go to that place with your transport. Then we also have in Spain, as you know, we have some problems with the forest fires in summer in the part of Galicia and Portugal with the border. So we have a tool that is a fire risk and a network analysis, and it tells you the probability of having a fire, and in case there is a fire, it helps you to go to that route, to other road, or to find another routes that are not in the middle of a fire. Then these ones, maybe if you were in Transpologistic Munich, you remember them because we have in the tablets where you can you can see them, and also we have in our website. I will send later the link to our website, to Alice's website in the part of Salin and Remoret. And this is the same as I presented before, the Asteroid one. That is a simulation tool to design it to model cargo transport as an agent-based system. Then we have the disruption information interface. That is the one I presented, that it was in the middle. So the disruption came to this one. And as you can see here in this small picture, it shows you different disruption there are right now on live. Then we have an energy model that, the disruption information, it's being developed by LPIT, and now the energy model is being developed by Sintef. And as you can see, it's just a model that calculates the cost, fuel consumption, and emissions depending on the road infrastructure and vehicle characteristics. So this, together with the other ones, you can calculate if you can't go through your route A, that is the common you use, you can go through route B or C, and it shows you how much what you're going to spend in fuel, how much you're going to emit in CO and NOx. So it's like, yeah, an energy model. And then from Remonet, we have this platform federation and orchestration that is like we build a collaborative digital infrastructure to connect everyone in the infrastructure, so everyone can say how much cargo they can transport, or if there is any problem in the lane they are going to use, etc. So it's a platform just for everyone to discuss about real time, static data, booking, traffic, emissions, etc. Then we have the route algorithm that is developed, if I'm not wrong, by PTV, and it's a route algorithm that enables intermodal door-to-door transport across Europe. And it's also, if you give it to him the disruption, it's also calculate you the different possibility, the routing possibilities in real time. And then the unified data pool for resilient transport logistics, as we know, to at the end, for having this tool to work, you need to know the structure, the disruption, you need to know the standardization, or if you are going, instead of going through route A, you go through route B, and maybe you have to stop in another place you are not used to, and they have another standard or something like that. So the more information you have, the better. So about the both projects, there are here some QR codes we will share afterwards the presentations, and we have here the project websites and the LinkedIn and the video of Remonet, that if you can see it, we will be very happy, and Maria will be very happy also. And okay, and that was about the projects, these two projects. They are going to be a final event. I'm going to talk it afterwards. That's why I don't want to explain everything about those projects. And about the TRA, I just made this calendar. This is only in resilience, and it's not about the sessions that are posters, only the big ones like the plenary, the strategy, the special session. So the second day, that is Tuesday, on 19th May in Budapest. Well, the TRA 2026 is from Monday to Thursday, from 18th to 21st of May in Budapest. And the day 2 at 4, we're going to have a special session on resilient freight transport and logistic networks versus decarbonization combined with a growing exposure to disruptions. I will show you later who is going to be there and what it's about. Then on day 3, we have a lot of things. At 9, we have the plenary session on resilience. Then at 10:30, we have the strategy session that's more on infrastructure. And then from 1 to 5:30, we have the final event of Cyril and Remonet, because Cyril will end in May and Remonet in June, and we decided to have the final event during TRA. And you are more than welcome to come. I will show you later the agenda and the link so you can join. So as I said, the second day at 4, we have this special session, and we are going to have as a moderator the Professor Alan McKinnon, and then as speakers we are going to have Paola Chiarini, that is here, Sophie Punte from Life Links, Georgia from CERT, that she has worked or is working for Freight Project, Christine from Sinte, that she has worked in Saril, and Ketki from Hanken, that she is working in Revonet. So we are going to talk about resilience. If you can come, I will be glad. It's going to be a very interesting session, and you can see the description. As I said, you will have later, or it's in the TRA webpage. It's already there, the description. Then the plenary on resilience. Alan McKinnon is the keynote speaker, and then as a panelist we have Margarida Marquez as the European coordinator of 20 Rhine Danube corridor. We have Uros that is the director of the Strategic Innovation Department in LS. Then el Dr. Iván Jiménez, that is from Bilbao Port Authority, and la doctora Claudia Elif, that is from the Federal Ministry of Transport of the Republic of Germany. And then the same day, 30 minutes later, we have this strategy section that is, as I said, more on transport, in the transport infrastructure, in resilience, and we are going to have Beatriz as moderator, and then you can see there the speakers that are David from Cesar, Francisco from the PNC, Idris from the European Railway Agency, Thierry from the European Defence Agency, and Iwa from Pasinska from CIMEA. So you can see Paola said that military is quite important, and here we have someone from the European Defence Agency. And then the final event of Silent Remote, as I said, will be on the 20th May starting at 1. You can come later. It depends because, in the TRA there are a lot of activities. So from 1 to 5:30, there is time enough. Here we have this agenda, and we are going to have a small welcome. Then Remonet will do a presentation of the full project, and then it will be Cheryl. Then at 3, we will have a small coffee break and networking. And then we are going to have a panel discussion with Alan McKinnon, Sophie Punte, and some Remonet and Cheryl end users. And then the QA session, the idea is to have them also there, but everyone can answer the question, anyone can have questions, so it's open to everyone. And then at the end, we have the closing remarks, and we also have 30 minutes more in the room that you can just talk with the parents of the projects, or make any small questions to Sophie or Alan if they are still there. So I invite you to come. The QR code is there to register, and you can attend without registration, but it's better if we know beforehand how many people we are going to have there, just to organize a little ourselves. And finally, if you came to the other TRAs, we are going to have a booth of Alice. This one is going to be, I think, every year Fernando is bigger and bigger, and we are going to need a pavilion only for us at the end. And here we are going to have Saril, and we are going to have other projects and liaisons. I think we have up to 30 or 35 projects in total. And we are going to have some presentations in the QR code and in the website. You have all the information of the agenda of the different presentations, events, and everything related to the Alice booth and what is it. And I think that's all from my part.